It was a chilly morning at the central train station. People moved with urgency, clutching coffee cups, bags slung across shoulders, phones glued to ears. Some faces looked tired, others distracted, but none of them paused as a baby's cries echoed through the air. The sound was sharp, desperate, and continuous. And yet, no one stopped. Among the crowd sat a young woman on a cold metal bench, rocking her baby in trembling arms. She looked no older than 23. Her eyes were red and puffy, cheeks flushed from the cold and crying. The baby, wrapped in a thin, slightly torn blanket, wailed louder, its face scrunched and red. But no one came close. People walked by like they didn't hear, like the crying was just another city sound to be ignored. The woman looked helpless, her lips quivering. She tried feeding the baby, but the bottle was empty. She reached into her bag, but there was nothing left. Not a single drop of formula, not a crumb of food. Just a few coins, an old pacifier, and a half-used tissue. A businessman walked by, adjusting his tie. He glanced at the crying baby and frowned before shaking his head and picking up his pace. A group of college students nearby whispered and laughed, avoiding eye contact. An elderly woman looked for a moment, then turned away. She wasn't asking for anything. She didn't have a sign. She didn't hold out her hand. She just sat there, rocking her baby, whispering soft apologies through her tears. Then, from the far end of the station, came a man named Thomas. Thomas was not particularly remarkable at first glance. Late 30s, wearing worn jeans and a faded brown jacket. A backpack slung over one shoulder, a reusable grocery bag in his hand. He was quiet, observant, the kind of person who blended into a crowd. But Thomas had something few others had, a habit of noticing people. He heard the cries and followed the sound. When he reached the woman, he stopped a few feet away. "Ma'am, is everything okay?" he asked gently. The woman looked up, startled. She quickly wiped her face and nodded. "I'm fine," she whispered, clearly lying. "Just waiting for a train." Thomas crouched down, his eyes scanning the scene. "Your baby's hungry, isn't he?" She hesitated. Then slowly nodded. "I ran out of formula last night." "I was hoping someone might," she stopped herself. "It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to get home." "Where's home?" Thomas asked. She looked away. "My mom lives in another city." "I was staying with my boyfriend, but things got bad. I left. I didn't have a choice." Thomas didn't ask for more. He could see the fear in her eyes, the shame she tried to hide. He stood up. "Stay here. I'll be right back." The woman looked surprised. "You don't have to." "I know," he said simply. "But I want to." He turned and walked briskly toward the station's small convenience store. Inside, he picked up a can of baby formula, a pack of diapers, and a bottle of water. At the counter, he added a sandwich, a chocolate bar, and a banana. He paid with what little cash he had left in his wallet. When he returned, the woman looked like she might cry again, but this time for a different reason. "You didn't have to," she said, voice breaking. "I know," Thomas repeated. "But no one else did. That baby didn't choose any of this. He just wants to be held and fed." She reached out with trembling hands, accepting the formula and water. "Thank you," she whispered. "I'm Emily. And this is Liam." Thomas smiled. "I'm Thomas." "Hi, Liam." The baby, as if sensing the shift in energy, quieted slightly. His eyes, still glossy with tears, focused on Thomas with innocent curiosity. As Emily fed him, Thomas sat beside her. "Do you have a ticket?" She shook her head. "I have enough money for a bus, but it doesn't leave until tonight." "I've been here since yesterday." Thomas frowned. "You've been here all night?" Emily nodded. "I didn't know where else to go." Without hesitation, Thomas reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. "Let me check something." A few taps later, he looked up. There's a 1 p.m. train to your city. I'll get you a ticket. No, please. You've already done enough. I can't accept that. Thomas looked at her kindly. You already did. When you chose to leave a bad situation for your baby, you did the bravest thing a mother can do. Let me do my part now. Emily burst into tears. Not the silent ones from before, but the kind that come when a wall finally cracks and everything spills out. Gratitude. Relief. Exhaustion. People around them started to notice. Some stared. Some looked away, embarrassed. But one woman, a mother herself, walked over and quietly handed Emily a clean baby blanket from her stroller. Another man, who'd been watching from a distance, came forward and offered a $20 bill. It was as if Thomas's small act of kindness had broken a dam. For the first time all morning, people saw Emily not as a problem, but as a person. A young mother in need. Within 15 minutes, she had a train ticket, a bag of baby supplies, snacks for the journey, and several well wishes from strangers. As the train time neared, Thomas helped Emily gather her things. She looked at him with wide, grateful eyes. I don't know how to thank you. You just did, he replied. Promise me one thing. When you're safe and settled, and you see someone else in need, don't walk past them. I promise, she said. Then, hesitantly, can I hug you? He smiled. Of course. She embraced him tightly, holding onto him like he was the only steady thing in her world. And maybe, in that moment, he was. As the train pulled in, Thomas helped her aboard. She found a window seat, and he stood on the platform until the train began to move. Through the glass, she waved. He waved back. Then the train disappeared down the track, carrying a mother and her baby to a new beginning. Thomas walked back through the station, unnoticed once again by most. But something had changed. Not just for Emily, but for the people who had witnessed what happened. One act of kindness had lit a spark. And sometimes, that's all it takes. Days passed. Then weeks. One afternoon, Thomas received a letter. There was no return address, but the handwriting was familiar. Inside was a photo of Emily and Liam, both smiling, healthy, safe. Behind them, a small house with a red porch and flower pots. The note read, Dear Thomas, we made it. Liam's happy. I found a job. Mom is helping me raise him. I think about you every day. I'm keeping my promise. Thank you for saving us when no one else would. With love, Emily and Liam. Thomas smiled and slipped the letter into his coat pocket. He didn't need recognition. He didn't need praise. He just needed to know that, in a world full of people too busy or afraid to care, he had done what was right. The truth is, we all pass by someone like Emily every day. We hear the cries. We see the signs. But too often, we look away, thinking someone else will help. But what if we were the someone? What if, like Thomas, we chose to stop even just once? It might not change the whole world. But it could change someone's whole world. And that, sometimes, is more than enough. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to reflect on what you might do differently today. Whether it's offering a kind word, a smile, or a helping hand, you never know how far that kindness will go. Thank you for watching. If you believe in the power of compassion, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Together, we can make kindness go viral.